Well, hello again, Bob Johnson with PK&W Modelwerx, coming at you with another video. This time it's about autonomous track geometry boxcars. If you follow my channel, you know that this all started based on this model that I saw of a CSX autonomous geometry boxcar at the RPM meet in St. Louis. And that model was done by this gentleman, Brett Tate. Thank you, Brett, for your great model and the time you spent talking to me about it. Very inspirational. And of course, Brett was modeling the CSX autonomous geometry boxcar that is in a waffle-sided 50-foot boxcar. And so that's how CSX does it. Now, first, what is track geometry? What is all this about? Well, the current technology uses lasers to make sure the rails are the right distance apart, that they're level with each other if they're supposed to be, if they're super elevated, if it's a super elevated curve, that it's right, that they're curved the same way. You know, there's lots of different aspects of the relationship between the two rails that can be checked with this laser. And also they're taking photographs of the condition of the rail itself. So there's a lot of data that's being collected in order to have the railroad operate more safely and more efficiently. So they do this with devices like these that are being shown on the screen now, which look like they're fairly easy to model. These are units that are then suspended underneath. There's an invisible boxcar in these photos, so that looks pretty easy to model, actually. Now, a lot of track geometry cars using this laser technology are specialized cars like this New Jersey Transit car that you're seeing here, or this FRA car that is a purpose-built car for measuring track geometry. They're also in various other kind of specialized cars that are in a consist, a unique consist. Even passenger cars like this CP passenger car can be used for track geometry cars. Now this slide from the Interface magazine. Who knew there was a magazine about the wheel rail interface? But there is. And this is their image showing how railroads, you know, what equipment they use. And this shows that, you know, BNSF uses a specialized train. I think several other railroads use specialized trains as well. That Norfolk Southern mounts this track geometry equipment on a locomotive, but that a variety of railroads use converted boxcars, including CP, CN, CSX, and I've searched the internet pretty extensively to find photographs of every one that I could find, and so we'll go through that. But obviously, you know, the CSX cars that you're seeing here, this is what Mr. Tate modeled rather, and these are just converted boxcars. So this is the easiest way to model this equipment, frankly. You don't have to model a specialized car, an entire train. You can just make a car and you can put it behind the locomotive in a regular consist. And that, of course, is part of the beauty of it in the real world. They don't need a special train. And these cars can be taking their measurements when the rail is under load because they are behind a locomotive. And as you see here, showing the inside of an autonomous geometry car, they use concrete ballast to weight it down so that it will record data about rail alignment and condition under load. So obviously an improvement. But here you see kind of the basics of a system with solar panels, batteries, testing equipment, Wi-Fi or cellular technology to transmit data to the railroad. So that's the basics of the system. Now here you see photographs of a couple of CP cars. They're using what looks like a normal height boxcar red boxcar that's been converted for this purpose. So fairly easy to model. Now the next ones you're seeing here are the Kansas City Southern. Who knows how those are going to look, or whether they're going to survive the merger that the KCS is going through or has gone through. But spectacular looking cars. Look at that paint job. Just incredible. And that is one of the things about these track geometry cars. They are sometimes kept very clean and pristine, so you don't have to do a lot of weathering. And now here are the CN test cars. Again, these look like these are standard height. They look like they're excess height, but they're not labeled as such, so I don't know. But here's the CN test car anyway. Again, very clean. Now, UP just uses a standard height boxcars as well, but they have made some modifications to theirs. You can see there's a passenger door that's been added to the side of the boxcar. Nice, that could be easily modeled. And you can really see it here on this one with the black doors and the black passenger door as well. Stands right out. And UP here is using a standard sliding door boxcar. The Kansas City Southern car was a plug door boxcar. The CN car looked, I can't tell exactly what it was. It looks like it had been heavily modified, at least on one side. Now last, here is a DOTX track geometry car. I don't know how that's used, where that's used, but it's a nice overhead shot. So when I model the car that I'm going to model for my own freelance railroad, I'll probably copy that solar panel and wiring arrangement, because it's the only example I have of an overhead shot. I suspect Brett Tate had some overhead shots of the CSX cars because he did such a fantastic job modeling the top of that car, but I didn't see those on the internet. So here's a picture of the system in use, and you can see that the laser stretches across the roadbed in a straight line from one rail to the other. So that's what your challenge is from modeling the light. And here you can see Mr. Tate's model. There's a couple of photos of that. He indicated that he had a battery-powered LEDs inside there, and I think he used a lucite or acrylic straight piece to kind of create that line across the bottom of the car. So that's going to be a challenge. I didn't pay enough attention or take pictures when Brett showed me what he was doing and took the top off his car and showed me everything inside. I should have taken a couple of pictures, and I didn't. So, and here's a picture of the equipment that's actually on the truck of the car. And that's easily to model. It's kind of to the left-hand side of the photo, right on the edge of the truck. There's some sort of machinery that's part of the track geometry equipment. So, relatively easy to model. Now, so here's your variations. Again, I know I've kind of talked about this, but UP is using a standard height freight car with the man door added. Now, CSX is using these waffle-sided boxcars, but I want you to notice here, they're not keeping them that clean. They have graffiti, they're weathered. Other railroads seem to keep them really clean. The Kansas City car is an extra height car, and it's super clean and super nicely painted. So you've got a lot of options about how to model these. So I've ordered a boxcar, an extra height boxcar to use for this project. I've ordered some LEDs. I've ordered some battery holders. I've ordered things to make the inside, the electronics work, a reed switch. So we'll see, and some regular switches in case I want to do that. So we'll see what I can do. My modeling stuff is still in storage for the most part, but hopefully I'll have enough. And I can just use rattle cans to paint this, to repaint the car. I think I ordered an undecorated car, but to paint it. So we'll see how it comes out. But I think this is something that I can model. I think it's something you can model, and it'll be very unusual. Now, one thing I did ask Mr. Tate about specifically was about how he modeled those solar panels, and he said he just found some pictures of solar panels on the internet, printed them out on paper, and glued them to pieces of styrene. Pretty simple. I thought it was going to be pretty complex because they came out great. The way he printed them, they had a kind of a semi-gloss finish, and they look great. Stay tuned. I'll be having a couple more videos on this project that I'm going to try and pull off while still looking for my hobby space. Until next time, Bob Johnson with PK&W Modelwerx signing off. Keep on modeling.